Here's a look at the euro on the 4-hour time frame to get the analysis off to a start here. I'm expecting to see a one of two things. I mean, obviously, there's going to be a little bit of volatility here. The dollar could see a little bit of a pullback, and so please do go see that video to understand exactly what I'm referring to. As always, to basically see the different angles and perspectives on the different time frames, and that'll start to align with what I'm in my mind seeing as a overall price action and possible outcome heading up into the next couple days here. So looking at the euro here, looks fairly bullish, I would say. Overall, we are riding right along that 200 period moving average. Now, in the event that we go ahead and let's say test this trend line once again around 122.72 and bounce, then we'll be looking for an upside target around the 123.70 area, potentially extending to 123.90, 92-ish, and then pushing back down yet again. Now, in the event that the opposite happens, we'll be looking for a breakdown of this area here, and then you'll be looking for a bounce from the 122 area here, 121.90-ish, right near the previous area of lows right back here. So again, there's one of two things that can happen here, and it all depends on obviously with what happens with the dollar here. But in the event that the dollar does continue to resist that downtrend that I did mention in my previous video, which again, please go see it. It'll definitely start to put things in perspective for you here. So in the event that we go ahead and push down here and then march back up, I expect that we will see further consolidation within this overall area before we see the next move up or a breakdown. In the event that we go ahead and hit this trend line, bounce up, and then look for the breakdown, that would be the dollar breaking out, and obviously the euro would be heading back to this area first. So let's go ahead and just take a look at the other options here. Daily time frame, just to kind of again put things in a little bit more of a perspective for everyone. In the event that we see the dollar continue to gain in strength here, then we'll be looking at the test of that 50 period moving average, probably see a bounce back to test that area around 122.90, and then ultimately breaking back lower, and that would be the dollar heading back upwards, test the next major area around 90.50 ish, 91 even, and that would put the euro around that 120 mark yet again, and then probably bounce from that level again. So ultimately, it's going to be some chop happening in the next several sessions. Obviously, we have a nice little M pattern here in development, so we're going to be in for a little bit of volatility. Make sure you keep your eyes on the lower time frames, as they typically provide the best indications of the next outcome. So you really want to pay attention to those. For example, drawing your downtrend lines here, looking at your 515s and your 30 hourly chart time frames. That's something that I like to do to kind of get an idea of what's happening across the board, and not just on a specific time frame only. So always try to look for the clues as you have them. The market does have a way of shaking people out unnecessarily, just because of the fact that they didn't take the time to look at the different time frames, and in looking at the larger time frames versus the smaller time frames, you can understand the general direction or the trend. And in this case, it's more of a near term chopping action. Up, down will be dictated by what happens with the dollar. So please, again, go watch the dollar index video, and that'll definitely give a little bit more insight as to what I'm saying here with these lines either going up or down. So again, hourly time frame, euro is still fighting with that 50 period moving average. My moving averages still have this as a relative sell here. Not that I would necessarily sell short here, it's just that it's not in a ideal buying position either. So I'd be looking for a little bit lower here personally, and then if we see that move up higher and I get the conviction on the lower time frames, along with the signal here with my moving averages, then we'd be looking for a pop back up to test the 200 as well as that 123 mark first. So 123 first. Obviously, we have a little bit of resistance looking at these wicks up here. So that, again, that's going to be to the upside in the event that the dollar does go ahead and reverse its recent direction area. So quite a bit to expect here, and quite a bit to look forward to. It is the last few trading days of the month, so things do tend to get a little bit crazy there. So make sure you're keeping your eyes on everything as far as how the monthly candles could potentially close out. And again, we are seeing some things in the market as a whole that are kind of leading to the volatility that we're seeing in the currency markets as well. So keep your eyes on the dollar index. Definitely has a lot of things tied to it right now, and a lot of things are paying attention to it. So a lot of eyes on the dollar index. Euro, same thing. Keep your eyes on it. If the dollar happens to start weakening, then start looking for the upwards move back up to the 123, 124 mark. Then looking for a little bit of consolidation, and again, another move up higher to the 125s possible on the back of a weakening dollar. Now, in the event of the inverse happening, then you have the euro moving back down to the 120 mark. So, again, a lot to take into consideration. It's going to be a lot of moves back and forth. A lot of volatility is expected on my end, at least. So just keep your eyes open. If you need anything, go ahead and reach out to me, and I'll be more than happy to give you my opinion at any time.